Hello guys, gals, and non-binary pals. My name is Mal and I'm the Zookeeping Interpreter at Trailside Museums and Zoo, and today we're in Doodletown. Today I'm at the Doodletown Reservoir with my pond study equipment to show you guys that there's more that meets the eye when it comes to something simple like a handful of mud that is actually quite teeming with life. Macroinvertebrates and small microscopic biota that we can't see with the naked eye. And we're gonna check that out today. So now I'm just gonna take my long-handed D-net and whip up a sample of some pond scum, muck and leaves, and everything that's living on the bottom of the pond.
You can do this at home too. All you need is a net, a bucket of water, a little bit of curiosity, and a pond or stream near you.
Now, one of the first critters we're going to notice swimming around in our pond water sample are these guys. These are tadpoles, or the larval stage of frogs. Frogs undergo complete metamorphosis, meaning that their body plan changes entirely throughout their life. Now, these guys begin their lives hatching from eggs, laid in jelly-like masses on aquatic vegetation and in the shallows of ponds. They hatch out as these little tadpoles that are really just big heads propelled by tails. As they get older, several changes are going to take place. First, these guys live a fully aquatic lifestyle, meaning that they have gills to breathe underwater, and that's going to change. Their gills are going to transform into lungs, and they're going to start breathing air. They're also going to lose their tails that will slowly absorb into their bodies, and they're going to grow limbs, legs for jumping and swimming. And as their tail absorbs into their body, the nutrients from that is going to help them strengthen to grow. But when they're this small, they're also going to feed on algae or tiny little bugs in the water. One of the most fun critters to watch in a pond are these guys. These guys are called whirligig beetles, and that's aptly named as these guys whirl about around and around on the surface of water.
The whirligig beetle hunts by using its elongated front legs to grab insects at the surface of the water. It also uses these legs as a paddle for swimming through the water. Living at the surface of water presents some interesting challenges for these beetles. They have to worry about predators from above and below. So, they have 4 sets of eyes, 2 on the top of their head and 2 on the bottom to see all around them.
Did you know dragonflies started their lives out underwater? That's what this little guy is here. He is the larval form of a dragonfly, or to be fancy, a member of the family Odonata. These little guys are tiny predatory aquatic insects that feed on other smaller aquatic insects. Dragonflies also swim through the power of butt propulsion. Well, not exactly. It's their abdomen. These guys suck in water through their bodies and they shoot it out the backs of their abdomens. That propulsion causes the insect to move forward, and that's how they swim through the water. This tiny critter here is called a caddisfly. And the actual bug is actually inside this little cocoon that he makes out of sticks and leaves and debris that fall to the bottom of the pond. And he uses the cocoon for protection. And when he wants to get around, he'll poke his little head and leg out of the front, and he'll walk around like a little hermit crab.
Now we're getting into the tiny things. Here we have a mayfly larva, or a member of the family Episomatism. These guys are found all over the world except the Arctic and have been around for over 350 million years. There are over 700 species in North America alone. Mayflies are what's called an indicator species, meaning that their presence means the ponds they live in are healthy and pollution-free. You may have gotten one of these before. This is a leech. Leeches are parasitic worms that are close relatives of the earthworm. Most species feed on blood. They have 3 jaws equipped with sharp teeth for latching onto their victims, and produce an anticoagulant to prevent blood clotting. Leeches can ingest 5 times their body weight in blood. But before you cast your judgment on our dear friend the leech, he could just one day save your life. Leeches have been used medically for thousands of years, dating back to ancient Greece and Egypt, where bloodletting was common practice. And while bloodletting is now a thing of the past, leeches are still used for their anticoagulant properties to help keep blood flowing to wounds after surgery to help them heal and prevent infection. Here we have a water boatman, named for its hind legs, which they use like oars. Water boatmen graze on algae. These insects were once considered a delicacy themselves in Mexico and Egypt, where their eggs were ground into flour. Check out this little scud, a tiny freshwater crustacean belonging to the isopod family. While most scuds live in the ocean, there are about 100 freshwater species. These little guys mostly feed on decayed plant matter and are important decomposers in the ecosystem. Here's a damselfly larva. The 3 leaf-like projections at the end of its abdomen are its gills. These guys are similar to dragonflies and can be distinguished as adults by their slender bodies and upright wings. Wow, that's a big fishing spider. These spiders are wanderers who don't build webs and instead hunt on the surface of the water. Like their name suggests, these spiders are capable of catching prey as large as minnows. Fishing spiders and other bugs like water striders are able to walk on water by evenly distributing their weight on their hydrophobic legs that repel water. They also use the surface tension of the water, or the attraction between the molecules, to stay afloat.
Check out this little cutie right here. This here is a juvenile red spotted salamander, otherwise known as a red eft. And these guys are really, truly real-life Pokemon, and they have one of the most interesting life cycles in my opinion, as they are the salamanders who can't seem to make up their minds. So these guys are born fully aquatic. Their eggs are laid on vegetation in the water, and they hatch out, and they're super tiny, maybe the size of my pinky, little aquatic salamanders with external gills. They look a bit like axolotls, which are adult salamanders that keep their juvenile characteristics. These guys, as they grow, decide that it's time to find a territory or a pond of their own. So they develop lungs and limbs, and they move on land, and they become the red eft. And these guys travel around in this juvenile stage for up to 7 years, looking for a pond to call their own. Now, this gorgeous bright orange coloration on this guy is a warning to us humans and other predators. This is called Episomatism, and it means that these guys are poisonous. And that's one of the reasons why I'm handling him with gloves on. The other reason is because salamanders are amphibians. They have that permeable skin. I don't want to hurt him. But if we were to eat these guys, we would get pretty sick. And for a predator like a blue jay or any other bird, eating these guys could be quite dangerous. Now, once these guys have settled upon a pond of their own and they're ready to make a new living for themselves, they turn into these guys. This is the fully aquatic adult form of the red spotted salamander. So you can check out the differences between these two guys. He turns kind of that dull olive green color, and he gets that tail there that he uses to propel himself through the water. He's not much for moving around on land anymore with those limbs, but they're all right for hanging on to plants. And that's where they're going to mate and lay their eggs, and the cycle starts anew. Thank you guys for mucking around with me in Doodletown today. I hope you have a new perspective on the fascinating natural world that surrounds us when you look just a little bit closer.